If you could make America perfect, how would you do it?
Well, I think that America is a country that has tremendous, tremendous potential. I think that much like the mind, I think that America is using very, very little of its potential.
And the crime, and the gangs, and the drugs that have stolen too many lives and robbed our country of so much unrealized potential.
You took out a full-page ad in major U.S. newspapers last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily, I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion.
These grave security concerns are the same reason that I have been very, very direct in saying that NATO members must finally contribute their fair share and meet their financial obligations. But 23 of the 28 member nations are still not paying what they should be paying and what they are supposed to be paying for their defense.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country, and if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
For many decades, we've enriched foreign industry at the expense of American industry, subsidized the armies of other countries while allowing for the very sad depletion of our military. We've made other countries rich while the wealth, strength, and confidence of our country has dissipated over the horizon.
I think there's a great lack of spirit in this country. What's happened over the last 4 years is disgusting, and I just think there's a tremendous lack of spirit, and I think the spirit has to be brought back.
When President Obama was elected, I said, well, the one thing I think he'll do well, I think he'll be a great cheerleader for the country. I think he'd be a great spirit. He's actually a negative force. He's been a negative force. He wasn't a cheerleader. He was the opposite.
Reagan, to me, was a great president. And whether you're liberal or you're conservative, people really view him as a great president. He'll go down as a great president, not so much for the things he did, just there was a demeanor to him and a spirit that the country had under Ronald Reagan that was really phenomenal.
For those who've abandoned hope, we'll restore hope and we'll welcome them into a great national crusade to make America great again.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
I'm all for guys that like men, but it's just not my thing.
Right. You really like women.
I never really understood that.
What? Guys that like guys?
Well, I think it's
that's not
terrific
you.
if they're really into it, but, you know, and if I were into it, I'd be into it.
I was thinking it could be interesting for us to share with these fine people our own personal story of meeting the president.
Yeah. And then he turns to you, and he goes, who are you? And you go, well, I'm his husband. And he goes, husband? He goes, I want to stand up. I want to stand up and shake your hands. I think that's great. I think that's just great.
He turns to Melania, he's like, honey, these two guys are married. And he turns to me, he's like, you guys are too good looking. That's your problem. You're too good looking. He goes, you know, I don't give a shit. He goes, and I don't think anybody else does either. And then in a very Trump way. And also, I don't think anybody has for 20 years. No one's given a shit for 20 years.
Yeah.
We affirm the right of all people to live in dignity. For this reason, my administration is working with other nations to stop criminalizing of homosexuality.
We have a great country in a lot of ways, and but there are weaknesses to everything else, and I happen to agree. I mean, I think that more money, a lot more money should be put into education and other things, but a lot more money should be put into education.
But for too many of our citizens, a different reality exists. An education system flush with cash, but which leaves our young and beautiful students deprived of all knowledge.
thinking that. Is that true, Donald? I was thinking that the rich people are trying to make us communists. Donald, you cannot let other rich people turn this into a communist country.
Yes.
Here in the United States, we are alarmed by the new calls to adopt socialism in our country. America was founded on liberty and independence, and not government coercion, domination, and control. We are born free, and we will stay free. America will never be a socialist country. We've enriched foreign industry at the expense of America.